for a lovely human love narrative person, a 5D mystic, potentially Enlightenment soul age group, for sure, functional adult. Pain is not in any way, shape, or form a motivator. Creating competitions with the different types of stories that people have about, I forgave someone without them apologizing, or, oh, look, did you hear about that art that helps you to draw into the crevices of what's broken and make you act in the opinion of a human love narrative person like a teenager and dramatize everything? Okay, but what a grown-up actually in a human love narrative knows, 5D mystic, enlightenment, functional adult, is the human suffering love narrative. And thanks to trauma and attachment therapists who do research and are academics, we also know, I do, and others who also are educated in the same, that a person can only demonstrate kindness and compassion when they have integration of the brain, which is the optimized version of the human being brain. But, there's a lot of those who don't have integration, and with human suffering and actually using pain points as motivators, well, let's just say they think they're living the highlight. When you ask them if what the most precious thing or gift is, what they would answer, we don't know, but those who are human love narratives know the most precious thing in life is life itself. Thank you, Sadhguru. And as he shares also, will you realize this now or only on your deathbed? So another thing is human love narrative people who have integration of the brain capacity, and that's because they have a ability of what's called meta-awareness. I know what's chit-chatter in my left mode, and when emotions, sensations, basically images, meanings, affects, behaviors, everything that comes up in my mind's eye, I know how I don't need to act on it. And if I'm reactive, I also know how to say, wow, you know what, you're right, I was reactive. Because there's a difference between being able to contemplate something and then use your mouth as a functional adult versus being reactive. I have a 3-year-old, and when it gets reactive, I apologize. And that's with my immediate family. As for strangers who then become part of my family, they're lucky. They don't have me as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They don't have me in those ages, so I don't have any of implicit or explicit memory that I need to work with or through with them. No, I actually have a lovely home, and it's welcoming and inviting, and so we get to passionately have, in fact, a lot of exchanges, which on the external, for those who are teenagers and they think they can go labeling every household on the planet, they'll be like, oh, that's a toxic one. No, we're just passionately Neapolitan-like Italians yelling at each other, because that's where you obviously don't understand what cultural bias means. And that's because you obviously are closed-minded to understanding, no, maybe you're not even bothering to wait, let me think, where am I from? Oh, I'm not a Neapolitan from Italy, so I probably don't know their mannerisms. Let me go look into what their heritage is, and then I will understand. And so a lot of teenagers out there liking to use their mouths many different ways, but as we do have a full moon in Leo coming up, I'm channeling and sharing food for thought, and I actually have a plan for this one. So integration, this is Daniel Siegel that I'm quoting. Integration made visible is kindness and compassion. This road to integration can be incredibly energizing, because what you are doing and helping someone heal is really bringing out into the world the love and connection that is the birthright for all of us who humans. Because animals only have primary consciousness and they're already living out their birthright. It's the humans who have secondary, and they don't know really what that means unless they look into it with attachment and therapy and trauma. Good ones, not the bad ones, not the ones who give you a diagnosis and say, oh, now you need a pill, you have to. No, the updated ones, the ones who don't believe in their updated colleagues, we know exactly who they are, because they're actually out there making sure we hear them, and they're making sure to use the platforms as any other person who is a teenager by shouting, and you will never, and the ones who want that, though, they're like, oh, that's it, that's the truth. I want hard, rigid, and chaotic. So the rigid is, I will not budge 1 inch if you prove to me, even with the data, that there is an environmental crisis. I don't believe in it. So when you tell me it's true, I'm going to know. But as soon as you tell me I'm right, I'm like, yeah. So there's something called stupidity in the book of an intelligent intellectual. Yes. So we can actually use data and as people have pointed out in studies, allow it to fit somewhere because our brains are integrated. So we get to use left and right, and in the unknown, we're like, you know what? We can, with the right mode, have A, B, C, D, F, G, and they're all separate. It's okay. We're feminines with the masculine. And the feminine energy, I don't like gender stereotypes, but the masculines that do believe masculine means gender, which it doesn't, but the masculines who I've met throughout my 43 years of life, they continue to tell me, Maria, the gender stereotypes are true. And I say, you're dumbing down humanity and yourself. They say, no, you just don't know. And then I say, you know what? I'm happy to be a feminine with my own masculine because my masculine is way better than whatever you're presenting to me right now. And I'm going to have to be kind about it because the minute I actually try to even begin conversing, what I know is you already told me you're not capable of moving beyond the gender and stereotypes. So your limited consciousness is very visible to me. I don't want to, and yeah, it's not going to be interesting because you've decided with a very rigid barrier that you're going to stick to what actually keeps you, by the way, in trauma, behavior response. But hey, let me be the, again, woo-woo pseudoscience. Anyone who doesn't believe in mystics, it's okay. We're happy. The 5D is like, yeah, you know what? Stay away from us. Go to 4D. Go talk to them because they're all over all of that stuff. So let's see, I have about 3 more minutes to do what I wanted to do besides all this. And Daniel Siegel, thank you, another one. Those who are in a role of secure attachment figure could be the only secure attachment figure a human being ever receives, which means you would be a source of soothing when they have been distressed, so a safe haven. And then you also continue to be a secure base, which means you support them to go and discover the world, and they will be very happy to touch base with you on that. And that's because some people, they didn't have a cozy home. So they have attachment wounds, trauma history. Some have had dissociation, clinical, disorganized attachment, and other attachments. And so they're happy when they meet the secure attachment figures, which are Pacha from The Emperor's New Groove. And if anybody has not watched it, Pacha is a functional adult. He knows kindness and compassion. He has an integrated brain. It could be a Pacha woman or a they, she or they, it doesn't matter. What they are is a person who doesn't need spirituality, yoga, or any religious belief for that matter. They're determined by their biology because their body is restored and embodied self, and their brain is integrated, flexible, adaptive, coherent, and stable. And they're all able to easily access this if they work with meta-awareness and get beyond the human suffering, love, narrative stereotypes, which, again, the motivator for teenagers apparently is who has the biggest you know what in the room, and how many can you down today, and how many can you get in your room, and whatever it is that keeps on perpetuating. Dalai Lama, we can approach life with laughter and love, not in spite of all the suffering, but actually because of it. We have a kind of responsibility to bring joy into the world. Yes, and they laughed. No, what was it? They yelled, Dalai Lama, how dare you smile in the face of all this suffering? And I'm thinking, what the heck? You didn't learn anything about culture, heritage? I mean, you must have not gone to school or something, because you should know who the Dalai Lama is. How dare you approach a person like that? In the manner, like, where are you coming from? You must have been out in space. So when human love narrative is straightforward, it's because love is your guide, and it's not just a, you need to be of worth. No, none of us are necessarily worthy or not worthy. We all breathe and live, and you know what secure attachment and functional adults know, like Pacha, everyone has a heart. No one's heartless. And as he supports lovely crew, what's his name? I forget what his name is right now. My mind's gone blank. But anyways, we're going to have a part 2. So as he supports Cusco, he continues to teach Cusco, but Cusco doesn't really have the balls to tell him the truth at the end of the story. So part 2 is coming.